Hey guys, this is Alpethium back with another little guide, this time for Returnal and the Tower. It occurred to me, hey, I haven't made a guide for this, and believe me, I have something to offer. Now, we're going to be discussing quite a few little things, strategies, things you should do before you even enter the tower, your personal goals in the tower. Are you here to have fun? Are you here to be competitive? And, well, I'm also going to be discussing something that I don't see any other guide for no other game for that matter discuss, because all the other guides they kind of focused on the game itself. No one ever discusses the player and the psychology that game developers just use against us, and House Marquee is just no exception to this. So let's get into it. I'm here on PC so I can pause things and just get into things a little bit more in depth. Now, first things first, let me just rewind this here. Before you even go into the tower, you should have all of the game's upgrades. These upgrades, I don't think this even needs to be said, are found in the single player of the game, which you can now co-op actually, but have all of the upgrades. And then once you do get into the tower, I strongly recommend that is, that you give it a few goes just to see, just to get the feeling of the tower. And your first goal, even if you want to be competitive inside the tower, should be to reach a certain milestone. Now, I've heard people say that to get these altars here to appear, you should collect a certain number of white poppies, or I don't know, beat Algos, which is the boss, the new boss that they put inside the tower, the boss that you're gonna be meeting so many times, but the first three are crucial. Even the game itself calls his third phase the true form. So one of these things, if you achieve it, you're gonna get these to spawn. These things are absolutely essential because you get a shield vial. Why is the shield vial so important? Well, you can get shield from adrenaline. You are probably going to be lucky enough to get the resonance shield, where you get a shield from picking up silphium resin. But why is this shield so good is because you can stack it. Now, I myself haven't managed to max it out. I just stacked a heck of a lot more of them. But in the inventory, which is here in the lower left, you can only carry 5. So that is a lot of stacking, be it on your person or just stacking it. That's gonna make a big difference for you in the tower because death comes very swiftly, especially the more you progress. There is a lot of one-shot deaths. Absolutely, absolutely unfair. And you're gonna find that the hard way. Now, the second, the next thing that I want to talk about when it comes to the tower is just a sec. Oh, here we go. Just like the game's upgrades, uh, all of the weapons they have traits. Now these traits, it's pretty much experience points for your guns. Every gun has a handful of different traits, but they get increasingly more powerful by the level. And if you haven't grinded out this in the game, you absolutely can do this while you're doing the tower. These traits are gonna make all the difference because at a certain point, you're gonna be getting the max level weapons, and the enemies just keep getting harder, more HP, hit harder, more resilient in every way possible. But your gun kind of stays the same. So this is where the traits are gonna be coming in to the rescue. Pay attention to this. Traits are extremely, extremely important. Next thing I want to talk about. Okay, we are right here. At the beginning of your tower run, and this can go even for a whole phase, maybe even whole first two phases of the tower run. Do not chase down the items that the enemies have dropped. Focus on speed. Now, speed is crucial for your tower run because the multiplier depends on speed, and the multiplier, just a sec, is this thing here, but not just, okay, Elbethium, it says multiplier, it's apparent. No, it is this line underneath here. This line starts disappearing if in a certain number of seconds you haven't hit any enemies. So to keep this line from going down, you need to be hitting enemies over and over and over again. And that is going to build up the multiplier. So at the beginning of the tower, you absolutely should, stick to the middle, of the arena, your home base, the portal that is going to be transporting you to the next stage. And absolutely ignore the items, especially Silphium. Do not get greedy. Not just Silphium, but calibrators as well, because the game is just gonna be throwing these items at you for free, absolutely for free. You're gonna have a lot of these rooms with damage augment or integrity augments as well, and believe me, you're gonna have a massive, massive suit integrity. Which brings me to the next part of this little topic. Now, see here, we're going to be getting a suit integrity upgrade. When you get an opportunity to choose between damage or protection versus the suit integrity, always, always choose whatever else is besides suit integrity. Do not choose that. Absolutely don't. You are gonna be bombarded with so many free, again, upgrades, especially after Algos and from collecting the resin, that you are going to build up, max out your suit integrity. So do not, especially at the beginning, because this is your base upon which you are going to be building your entire run, do not choose the suit integrity option for upgrade. Everything else, because the suit integrity, even the proficiency, all of that is going to come quite natural through just playing the tower. So do not worry about this. Okay, let's see what is the next thing. This is pretty much what I've been talking about now. See, we have integrity, we have over there to the left a little relic. Relics are extremely, extremely powerful, and these things are going to be make or break for your tower as well. Okay, because at a certain point, no matter integrity or protection is going to be mattering much, considering that the game is extremely unbalanced and there are so many assholery deaths, so many one-shot deaths that it won't matter. So what I'm trying to say is that attack is the best form of defense in this game. You absolutely, absolutely should focus on that. Let's keep going. Okay, so these things. These things are super weapons that you do not have within the single player because these things are just so damn powerful. You have like 3 or 4 variants of it, and every one of them packs a huge punch. This is something that you should absolutely be stacking, not using, stacking for your first 1 or 2 phases. But this is going to be dependent on your own experience. You're going to be getting very good at reading the situations where you feel overwhelmed and just surrounded. The more you play, the more skilled you're going to be becoming, and this situation is going to be changing. You are going to be able to handle more through sheer skill alone. Regardless, these weapons are going to be your aces up your sleeve, especially against those bigger variants of enemies that are usually accompanied by a swarm of little minions. Moving on forward. Now, I want to show you here. I'm just going to let it play out. Grapple points. Grapple points are the single most amazing thing in the entire game. I still feel like a lot of people don't realize that while you are using the grapple, you are getting invincibility frames. Grapple has an insane reach, absolutely insane reach. This is gonna be your lifeline that is gonna be taking you out of some really bad situations, and not only taking you out, but taking you without a scratch even. Especially if you have grapple hooks on opposing sides. This is gonna be absolutely fantastic. because here's the thing, and I'm gonna show another example of it. You can pretty much surround the enemy being the single character that you are. You can still feel and make the enemy, you can feel overpowered, and you can make the enemy feel surrounded, because this is, in the end, just a game, and it's programmed, and it's not reactionary like a player. I'm gonna talk about this more later. It's not making snap decisions as a person would. It still takes it like a second or two for it to just react through its programming. Now here, again, I'm gonna show you just how OP the grapple is. I don't even touch the floor. I am just going around the enemies, and obviously you need to hone your skill a little bit later, so it all kind of comes together in this beautiful, perfect dance. But here is gonna be the best example. Now, you have the minimap as well, and especially at the beginning of each room, it's very, very wise to keep one eye here, because you're gonna see the enemies spawn and you don't wanna be in the middle of them. This is where the grapple again comes in such big importance. If you see that the enemies are just spawning everywhere, you can change the tide on them by simply changing your own position, and you go from a point of being surrounded to just flanking them, and they are on the defensive. Now, awareness of where each enemy is, it's gonna take a little bit of practice, but it's exactly what I'm doing here. I know there are these three guys that warp around the map, and see, this is what I'm doing. I saw, just a sec. Okay, that one teleported there. Is trying to flank me. We handle it. Another one comes. I'm basically sandwiched now between the two. Dodge a little bit, go, and now they are on the defensive. I managed to get behind them, and you can see the numbers just disappearing here. Grapple is the single most amazing thing in the game, and it's gonna be all the difference. Okay, so let's see what else I put here. Okay, so this is gonna be the ultimate example. How to handle not just groups, but tougher enemies and their little minions. Again, it is the grapple, and you're just using the grapple to close in on the enemy super fast. Here, I apologize. You get extra points for finishing off enemies in midair, and it just wasn't happening there. And it's just too funny. It's just too funny. Well, guys, so this is the strategy, the little things you should worry about. Like I said, if you kill enemies in midair, it kind of yields more points. Grapple hook is your best friend. Obviously, you're gonna have a weapon or two that you are very comfortable with, but getting the movements down, having the awareness of where the enemies are, and be very comfortable with the map, knowing where everything is, that is what Returnal is about. Because you are just OP, you are always in control. Practice, practice the grapple. Always have a grapple point available to you when you're fighting enemies. Okay, let's go on.
I have left the most important part of this guide for last, which is the player itself. Now, here is the thing. Fear psychology. Fear psychology is a massive ace up developers' sleeve this time to make their game harder, to make their game last longer. This was pretty much implemented the most during the times of NES games, but while back then it was done to make the games last longer because of the limitations of the hardware and everything, some of these philosophies have stuck around today. Because here is the thing. Through enemy design, the most, they kind of get you started on this fear psychology of the enemies, and then sometimes you just get hit. Like, the scarier the enemy, it's quite safe to assume that the enemy does a lot of damage, and then you get hit and you take a lot of damage. So when you see these enemies, their physical appearance gets more of an accent, and it has a deeper, more profound effect on your psyche, you start to panic. The more you start to panic, the more nervous you get, the more the game takes control over you. The more the game takes control from you, the game wins. Now, you cannot treat the game as a living person. Look at this. I have got behind this guy. He did not react. You, the player, are superior to the game. You are reactionary. If I had done this to another player, he would have reacted in a split second. But no, this is a game. He needs to finish his programming before he can start another function that he is also programmed for. You need to understand that you as a player really are superior. It is you who holds the whole control. And through these little tricks, the game tries to take the control from you. I guarantee you quite a few players die more because they've got nervous than because they couldn't handle something. This is just a game. This is not another person. This is not a living thing. He can only do the things that he is programmed for. Once you realize this, you get more comfortable. The more comfortable you are, the more control you will retain, no matter what situations the game is putting towards you. All games function on a preset of rules, and these rules never change. You cannot expect the game to throw something completely new at you, something that a living person could. No, the game will always follow the rules. Guys, this has been my guide. I truly hope this helps you even a little bit in your quest for fun, in your quest for domination of the tower. Guys, I really do hope I help you, and I would thank you immensely for supporting me. And if this has indeed helped you and you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, maybe leaving a like, even a comment, telling me if this helped or not. Best of luck, guys. I will see you in the next one.